morning. Nice to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me for today's live full body workout. Today is a 35-minute routine. We are going to be sculpting our entire bodies. So I'm going to be using some weights for this routine. It's Pilates and strength training, which is one of my favorite ways to work out and build muscle. I've got a set of 8-pound dumbbells and I've got a set of 5-pound dumbbells. You can go heavier, you can go lighter, depending on your level of strength and the level of challenge that you're looking for within this workout. Just make sure with all the moves that you're moving with good form. If it gets too much with a heavier weight, lower the weight. So this workout does include a warm-up and a cool-down. We're going to warm up the body in a dynamic way, and then we're going to jump right in to some of our weight work. So let's go ahead and get started. It's going to be a great 35 minutes, and you're going to feel amazing, really accomplished after completing this routine. So we're going to move into an all fours position to start ourselves off. We're going to really wake up the spine. If this is your first bit of movement of the day, really important to mobilize before we get into the heavier weights. So we want the wrists below the shoulders, the knees below the hips. We're going to drop the belly and just arch the spine, bringing the gaze up. Deep inhale here. And then as we exhale, I'd like you to really connect with your abdominal walls. Scoop your belly in and round your spine as you drop the crown of the head. Good. Let's inhale. Arch. Good. And exhale. Connect with those abdominals by drawing your belly button in toward your spine and create space between each of the vertebrae. Good. Arching and rounding. Amazing. Arching, looking up and rounding, separating the spine as you push the mat away. Good. For 2. And final 1. Really push mat away, stretch through the spine, then bring the spine to neutral. Bring yourself into a kneeling position. If it's uncomfortable for you to kneel, stand up for this. We're going to bring the arms out in front. Palms are facing in toward each other. Stack your vertebrae on top of each other, one on top of the other, growing up really nice and tall up through the crown of the head. Pull your right elbow back, keeping your hips facing forward. Pull your left elbow back, rotating around the spine, and then circle your arms back together and forward together to the starting position. Good. Pull back on that right side. Pull back on that left side. Nice big opening of the chest as we circle the arms back. And mobilize those shoulders as you bring them forward. Good. Pulling back. Nicely done. Pulling back, rotating around the thoracic spine, opening through the chest, and bringing the hands out in front. Good. 1, 2, and stretch and lengthen through your fingers as you circle. Amazing. Last set. And 2, and circle back. And circle forward, planting your hands down on the mat. We're going to step the left foot back, step the right foot back, holding in plank, really connecting with the abdominal wall, lifting through those abs. And then we're going to pike up into a downward dog, stretching the back body, stretching the spine. Bend your knees as much as you need to get that lift in the hips. Good, then lower the knees, take them nice and wide on the mat, bring the big toes together and stretch back into child's pose. Again, continuing to lengthen through the spine. From here, we're going to come forward into our plank, hold here and repeat. Pike up into your downward dog, lift those hips, lower the knees nice and wide and stretch. Let's do one more of those. So we're going to come forward, holding in our high plank, lifting abdominal wall. Lift those hips up nice and high. Enjoy the stretch here. Flatten out the upper back. And then lower those knees nice and wide. And stretch back into your child's pose. Opening up in the hip area here too. Holding and lengthening through the spine. Let's really focus on that Pilates breath here. Breathing in through the nose, filling the back of the rib cage. And slowly out through the mouth. Amazing work. Now we're going to move into our upper body portion of the workout. So we've mobilized those shoulders, and now we're going to continue to work the upper back and the shoulder muscles. We're going to get into an all fours position, and I'm going to take my heavier weights under my shoulders. These are my 8-pound weights. Again, you might want to start off with a lighter weight. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so I've got my weights under my shoulders. My knees are below my hips. If it's uncomfortable for you when you're pulling the weight up on this right side to have your left fist holding onto the weight, you can just have your left hand flat down on the mat. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so the gaze is down on the floor so the neck is in line with the spine. We're going to go into some rows here. Gripping the weight in the right hand, we're going to draw the right elbow up, squeezing and contracting the upper back muscle without lifting that right shoulder up. So we want to keep it level with the left shoulder and then lower. Good work. Okay, so lift, squeeze at the top and lower. Lift, driving that elbow up toward the ceiling and lower. Good. Lift it up and lower it down. Good. So as I lift up, I'm really focusing on keeping those shoulders level and stable, and really focusing on contracting those upper back muscles as I lift that elbow up toward the ceiling. Let's go 3 more. As we lift, we engage the core. 2, and final 1. Nicely done. Switch sides with the weight. Take the weight in the left hand. Right hand is under the shoulder, or right dumbbell is under the shoulder. We're pulling that left elbow back up. Good. Lifting that left elbow, squeezing, and then lowering. Good. Now our focus here is on keeping those shoulders stable. Push the mat away, up through that supporting hand or fist. Good. Amazing work. Squeeze and hold at the top of the lift. Activating those upper back muscles. You've got this. Moving slowly and with control and purpose for 2. And final 1. Now we're going to switch back over to that right side. And from here, we're going to go into some slow pulses on the right side. So we're going to lift the elbow up, and then we're just going to lower. Just hovering the weight above the mat, not lowering it all the way down to the mat. You've got to bend in that opposite elbow on the supporting side. You're lowering and lifting, squeeze, hold at the top. Good, so we're keeping the weight elevated the whole time, keeping that tension on those upper back muscles. Good. Let's go 4, 3, nice long neck, gaze stays down on the floor. For 2, purposeful pulses here. And final 1, amazing. We're gonna hold at the top of the lift for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great work. Okay, switching it over to the other side. Holding onto that weight, lifting that left elbow up, broadening across the shoulders, stabilizing across the shoulders, lower and lift. So we're not letting that weight lower all the way down to the mat. We're keeping that supporting side, that right side really active. Gentle micro bend in the right elbow, so we're not locking out that right side. Good. Lowering and lifting, squeezing at the highest point of that elbow lift. Good. Let's go 4, 3, good work. For 2, and final 1, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Nice start with the weights. Okay, from here, we're going to use our lighter weight. Again, you can choose a weight that challenges you. I'm going to take the weights under the shoulders, and we're going to start off on this right side. We're going to lift the right elbow and then extend and lift the arm. So we're bending the elbow, bringing the weight in toward the shoulder, and then we're extending and lifting. So we're bending, we're extending the arm, and we're lifting it just a small amount to really focus on the triceps. Good. So we're bending, extending and lifting. Good. Bending, extending and lifting. Really focusing on the backs of the arms doing the work here. We're keeping those shoulders nice and level. We're really moving slowly and with good intention here. Mind-muscle connection on the back of the arm for 2. Nice work. And 1. Amazing. Lower the weight down. Now take a moment here to really broaden across those shoulders, pushing that away. Let's bend the left elbow and then extend and lift the left arm. Bend, bringing the weight in toward the shoulder, extend and lift. Bend, extend and lift. Good, so really focusing on those triceps. Squeezing the back of the arm as you lift and straighten. Good. Let's go 4 and 3. You're doing great. Keep that core engaged as well. And last 1. And relax it down. Amazing work. Okay, I'm going to put those lighter weights up at the top of the mat. And we're going to get into position for another tricep exercise. Now, if you feel uncomfortable sitting on your knees like this, I'd like you to stand up and stand with your feet hip distance apart. So I'm going to take a hold of either end of my heavier dumbbell. If you haven't got, so this is what the movement's going to look like. We're holding the weight overhead, bending and extending. If you haven't got a single heavy dumbbell, you can do this with 2 lighter ones, like so, bending and extending. Okay, but I'm going to hold on to just the one on either end, stacking the vertebrae one on top of the other, plugging the belly in, shoulders are down, neck is long, weight comes overhead. We're going to focus on keeping the arms parallel and keeping the upper arms stationary as we bend from the elbow and then push the arms back up. Bend from the elbow and lift. Good. Bend at the elbow and extend. So your aim here is to keep those upper arms really nice and stationary. Good. Gaze stays straight ahead. And try not to let the elbows splay out to the sides. So you want those upper arms framing the head as you bend and extend those arms. Now this is always a reminder to myself as well. We don't want to be arching here through the spine. So we want to keep that spine really lengthened and neutral. The core is engaged here. That'll help with that spinal alignment. Good. You're doing so well. Let's go 6. Focusing on those triceps doing the work for 5. Feeling that burn in the backs of the arms for 4. Good work. Don't let the chin drop here. Gaze straight ahead. 2. And final 1. Push that weight up and lower it down. So good. Okay. So those arms are really firing up now. We're going to focus our attention now on our biceps. So I would like you to move into a comfortable seated position or a standing position. So I'm going to sit with my legs crossed and my hips evenly weighted on the mat. If you're standing with your feet hip distance apart. So I'm taking the weights, my lower weights, in my hands, and I'm turning my palms so that they're facing you. The upper arms are locking in toward the side of the body. I'm not going to let those move. And then we're going to bring the weight to the shoulders and then lower, just not totally straightening the arm, but maintaining a bend. Bend and lower. Bend and lower. So really focusing on posture here. Keeping the neck nice and long, those shoulders down away from the ears. And remember, we're locking the upper arm in toward the side of the body. So we're not letting those elbows move forward or backward. We're just focusing all of our attention on those biceps as we lift with energy and lower with resistance. Good. Amazing work. Good. Keep that tension on the biceps. Remember that resistance on the way down. It really helps to make this movement count and for you to get the most out of these repetitions. Let's go 5 and 4. Biceps are working hard. For 3, abs in. For 2, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And final 1. Now I'm going to rotate my fists so that they are toward the shoulders. We're going to keep those upper arms locked in toward the side of the body. We're going to lower into a half bicep curl. So I'm going to lower just to right angles with the arms and then pull the weight up to the shoulders. Lower and lift. So we're kind of pulsing it here from bent elbow and then bringing the weight to the shoulders. Good. Really pumping that weight up. Feeling that work in those upper arms. Good. Not letting the elbows come forward here, keeping those upper arms attached to the sides of your body. Good. You should really be feeling the work in those biceps now. Let's go 10, 9, 8, great work, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Amazing work. You can drop your weights off to the sides and just give your arms some circles to release tension. Good. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth for 2. And final 1. Nice work. Okay, we're going to move into our ab work now. I'm going to move these weights right out of the way. And I'm just going to hold on to a single dumbbell for these moves. Again, you can do them with the lighter weight, or you may choose to use no weight at all for the ab work, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, so we're going to lower down 1 vertebra at a time onto the mat, and then we're going to separate the legs so that they are about hip distance apart. I'm going to take the weight over the shoulders, head is resting down on the floor. We're going to widen the knees as we bring the weight between the knees. So we're coming up, widen the knees, reaching that weight or those outstretched hands between the legs, and then bring the legs back to parallel and bring the weight over the shoulders. So inhale here, exhale to curl up, resting head on top of shoulders, and then lower. Curl and crunch up, resting head on top of shoulders as you widen those legs, making space to reach that dumbbell or reach those hands out between your thighs, peeling head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat. Good. Now I really want you to focus on pressing your lower back into the floor as you curl and crunch up. If this is feeling really intense with the weight, you can drop it off, interlace your fingers, take them behind your head, and support your head, neck, and shoulders as you curl and crunch up. That's a great option. Good, you don't want to strain your neck. Amazing work. Let's go 3 and 2. Lift up a little higher into that crunch. And final 1. Nicely done. Now from here, we're going to keep that lower body really stable and stationary, pressing low back into the mat. We're going to curl up over to the right side, bringing right arm down toward the floor. Good. So just hovering above the floor as we work into our obliques. So the weight comes over the shoulders, then we cross over. Now I want you to have a look at your knees as you cross over. They shouldn't be swaying over to the right side. They should be staying stable and centered. Good. So we're really challenging ourselves by picking our left shoulder blade right up off the floor as we curl and crunch over, connecting the low back with the mat, Let's go 4 and 3. Nice stability for 2 and final 1. Nicely done. I'm going to lower my weight down just for a moment and just take a moment to sway my legs from side to side, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good work. Okay, bringing those legs back to center. Legs are hip distance apart. Moving over to the left now. Pressing low back onto the mat as we cross over. Keeping those legs stable because the lower back is connected with the floor. Good. So we don't want that right bum cheek coming up off the floor as we cross over. We really want to rotate around the rib cage, isolating this work in the waistline. Good work. Working those obliques, working those side abs. You're doing great. Let's go 6 and 5. Last 4, picking right shoulder blade up off the mat. For 3, abs are working hard. For 2, and final 1. Nice work. Okay, from here we're going to stretch the legs out nice and long. They're wide, about shoulder distance apart. Weight is over the shoulders. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to curl and crunch up, bending the knees and lifting. So we're lowering down, weight comes over the shoulders, stretching the legs out long, and then we're rolling up into a crunch, bending the knees. If it's too much to come all the way up from the mat, you can C-curve like so, and then curl and crunch up. C-curve and curl and crunch up. Good. Otherwise, doing the full variation of this exercise, legs straight and curling and crunching up. Good work. Legs straight, weight over shoulders, and pull belly to spine as you lift. So I want you to inhale to lower, exhale, drawing your navel in to lift. Great work. Straightening those arms and then lifting with purpose and control, really focusing on that abdominal wall, doing the work to get you up off the mat. Good. We've got 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Nicely done. Okay, from here, we're going to lower down with control, and we're going to go into some leg lifts to focus on the lower abs. So I'm going to take my left hand behind my head. I'm going to support my head with my left hand. I'm going to take the right hand over the shoulder. So I'm just going to hold the weight stationary for this move over the shoulder. Again, the weight is optional. I'm going to take the right knee and bring the right knee over the hip, bringing the right leg into tabletop. So really nice and stable on that right side. From here, we're going to lift the left leg into tabletop, extend the left leg out long, and then curl up into a crunch, supporting the head, and we're going to lift and lower that left leg. Lift and lower. Good. Lift and lower. If that's too much, you can have the opposite leg, that right foot down on the floor as you lift and lower that left leg. So the leg is in tabletop or it's down on the floor. Good. Keeping that arm nice and strong and elevated. Let's go 5, 4. You're doing so well. Nice control. 3, 2, and 1. Lower the legs down. Good. Now we're going to switch sides. Right hand comes behind the head. Left fist over shoulder. Left foot down on the floor or left leg in tabletop. We're going to extend that right leg out long and lift up into a crunch. Lifting and lowering that leg. Lifting and lowering. Amazing work.
Really reach up through that fist. Keep that arm nice and straight. Connect with those lower abs for 5 and 4. Keep pointing hard through the toes. Activating the leg muscles as you work those lower abs. And last one. Amazing work. You can draw pure weight off to the side of the mat. Bring your feet or your knees in towards your chest and just stretch it out. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Now, final ab exercise here before we move into our lower body work. I'm going to take that weight back over the shoulders, lift the legs up, straighten the legs. If you can't get them totally straight, bend at the knee. So I'm squeezing the legs together. We're going to really target our upper abs here. So we're going to lift that weight up toward the ceiling and then lower. Just hover head, neck, and shoulders above the floor. Lift, contracting the upper abs, and lower the shoulders. Elevate the shoulders up off the mat. Hold and lower. Breathe out to lift. Inhale to lower. Good. Amazing work. We've got 5 and 4. Last 3 and 2. You can do it. Final 1. We're going to come and hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep breathing. Lift a little higher for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your right leg, lower your left leg. Take your weight off to the side and roll over onto your stomach. Let's stretch out those abs and just take a bit of a breather here. So I'd like you to peel up into a cobra position or all the way up onto your palms, whatever feels right for your spine, and stretch out the abdominal wall. Amazing work with that ab series. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears here, and just enjoy one more breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth as you melt yourself back down to the mat. Nice. Use your hands to help you. Come up into a seated position, and we're going to take a hold of our weights. I'm going to use my heavier weights for this, but that could be a little intense for you, so you can definitely go lighter weight for this bridge work if you would prefer. You can also do the bridge work with no weight at all, and you'll still feel the burn in those glutes and thighs. So we're going to lower down one vertebrae at a time, and we're going to set ourselves up for bridge. Now I'm going to start off with a wide leg bridge. So I'm going to take my legs into sort of a V shape. So I'm widening them a little bit further apart than shoulder distance. I want to position my heels so that they're below my knees. I'm going to take my heavier weights and just place them on my hips, kind of between your hip and leg bone where it's a little bit cushier there. And we're just going to take a moment to set the spine. So we're tucking the tailbone and pressing the low back down onto the floor. From this position, we're going to lift, keeping the tailbone tucked, and lower, keeping those knees splaying apart. Lift, tailbone is tucked, and lower. Lift and lower. Good. Lift and lower. So squeeze the glutes as you press up through those heels. You're doing so well. Good. Not overarching the back, so we're not thrusting our hips up. We're really focusing on the back body muscles doing the work to lift those hips up. Good. Lower, just kind of tap the bum quickly down on the mat before lifting those hips straight back up. Good. Really connect with your core here as you move as well. Breathing in through the nose. And as you exhale, you contract that abdominal wall and squeeze those glutes. Good work. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. lower down. Now we're gonna move the legs into a parallel position with the feet hip distance apart. Same thing again, but this time we're going to lower the bum just a couple inches and then push up. Lower and lift, lower and lift. Good. So keeping those legs parallel, keeping that tailbone tucked as we lower and lift those hips, squeezing the glutes, driving up through the heels. Let's go. 8, 7, 6. Engage the abdominal wall with every thrust. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Lift it up and lower it down. Great work. Now I'm going to take just one of my weights and I'm going to come down onto my side body. So I'm supporting my head in my hand. And actually, no, let's come up onto the forearm for this so we can be a little bit more dynamic in this movement. So I'm going to come up onto my forearm. My elbow is below my shoulder. Chest is nice and open here. I'm stacking the hips, stacking the knees, stacking the shins and ankles. The inside of the feet are gluing together here. I'm going to place my weight on the outside of my thigh, keeping those inside feet glued together. We're going to open and close. Good, open and close. So really tighten the core, no slumping here. We want to be pushing the mat away so that the waistline is active here too. Good. Opening and closing without letting that top hip roll back. Let's go. 9, 8, 7, nice tight core. 6, 5, 4, 3, keep that chest nice and open. 2, and 1. Now we're going to build on from that. We're going to lift up, bringing that top lower hip up off the mat as we open up that top leg. Lift and lower. If that's too much, you can stick with the earlier variation. Good. Amazing work. I just switched the position of my weight so I don't kind of have to reach for it. I'm bringing up a little bit higher on my hip and I've turned it so it's sitting, rather than lengthwise, it's sitting horizontally on my leg. Good, whatever's more comfortable for you. Really work that waistline as you lift that lower hip. Let's go. 3 and 2 and final 1. Lift and hold. Lift a little higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Whew. Okay, coming over onto the other side. We're going to come down onto that supporting forearm, elbow below the shoulder, line up those knees, stack those hips, glue the inside of the feet together, and let's go into those clamshells on this side. Good. Working into the waistline here, pushing that away up through that elbow. Good, so we're not slumping. We've got 8, 7, 6, keep that neck really elongated. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Now, I'm going to change the position of my weight. First and foremost, I'm going to bring it up a little bit higher on the hip, and then I'm going to lift it up. Good. Amazing. So the inside of the feet stay glued together. We're focusing on the lower glutes as well as on the waistline. As we lift up, the upper leg is working too. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come up and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down and drop that weight off to the side. So good. We're going to finish off with some stretches now. So let's lower back down to the mat. Cross the right leg over the left. Interlace your fingers between your thighs, holding on to the back of the left thigh and drawing that left knee in toward the chest. Stretching out the right glutes. Stretching out the lumbar spine. Relaxing the shoulders and relaxing the breath. Hug that knee in a little closer for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. Cross left leg over right. Interlace your fingers behind the right thigh and bring the right knee in toward the chest. Stretching it out here. Relax the shoulders, relax the face. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your hands behind your thighs. Roll yourself up. Stretch your legs out long. Reach your hands up high and fold over the lower body, coming into a back body stretch. Grabbing hold of your calves or your ankles or your feet if you can reach them. And taking some nice deep restorative breaths for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Bringing yourself into a cross-leg position or kneeling if that's more comfortable for you. Taking your right hand down to the mat and then reaching up and over with your left arm, keeping left bum cheek down on the floor. Good. Reach and switching sides. Reaching and stretching through those right fingers. Keeping right bum cheek down on the floor. And let's switch. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through that side body. And last time, reaching and lengthening, enjoying the stretch. Come back to center, lift the shoulders up and roll them down and back. Lift those shoulders up nice and high and roll them down and back for 2. And final 1. Amazing work. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you feel really strong and well stretched. That was challenging but effective. Thank you for being here with me, and I look forward to our next live together. See you soon, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.